I'm a little bit late to the party on this one because hype has died down a little bit. When the first chapter of this series released, people were going nuts for it, which is really weird because the original Boruto series, people just absolutely hated. And this is written by the original creator of Naruto, but so was that part way through. It's gone the way of Dragon Ball Super, as in it has a new artist. And whilst I do like the art, a lot of the background of it is just white. It's just white. There's nothing in the background. It's just mainly focused on the characters, which does work in favor of some action sequences, but it does also make you feel a bit hollow because there doesn't seem to be a world they're living in. It just seems to be the characters. As for the series itself, you can jump straight into this without reading anything before. It explains all the important things and it doesn't feel like an exposition dump, but it does feel a bit wordy at times, compared to the previous series at least. I really like the premise. You have everybody against Boruto. He's a bad guy, but only a select few know the truth about him, where he's not really a bad guy, but everybody in the village seems to think he's evil incarnate. Of course, that leads to a lot of people just straight up hating him, so when he comes to save them all, they're all just like showing up with their fire and pitchforks and going, "No! Well, you're evil, what are you doing?" It's very much like a reverse Shippuden, but instead of following Naruto, we're actually following Sasuke, which I really like because Sasuke was my favourite character in that series, and to be able to follow a character that is very similar to that and kind of going on the same journey, I love it. It's awesome. And also because there's a time skip, you know, it doesn't feel like we're following the same characters necessarily. They feel completely fresh and new because there has been a 5-year time skip, so a lot of things has happened in between that time, which is great because you get to build so much lore and you get to do so many things that you couldn't have done previously. So far, my favorite character is Boruto in this. I just love how arrogant he is. He's telling people to piss off and threatening to kill them point blank, and they're just laughing at him like, "Oh, you're just a kid, you ain't gonna do nothing." And like, he wipes the floor with so many people. It's just awesome. And we're only 6 chapters in at the moment, so like, this is only the beginning. It's going to get much better than this. Like, they're literally building the world from scratch again. You've got these vine trees who are these villains, and like, they're very new to the world as well because they've just been born. And the thing is, like, they are so dangerous because they're like children. They don't know what they're doing, and they're kind of coming up with like the initial thought process and thinking for themselves. And this is the bit where it gets dangerous because they could have killed Boruto, but they're learning. So they're like, "Oh yeah, we're going to let you off and just see what happens." And from there, what I really like about them is they seem to have taken on the characteristics of the people they've absorbed. So they've got Sasuke in one of them, so he's obviously going to be targeting Sadara. So that's going to be a really, really interesting thing to play on in the future. I also really, really like Code in this because like, he was a good starting villain because, you know, he's putting a lot of pressure on the village and he seems really, really dangerous, but it's not until Boruto shows up and wipes the floor of him that you can't really gauge how powerful Boruto actually is. And like, he completely outmatches Code every single time, and it's amazing. If you're not already reading this series, I would highly recommend it. It's really, really good. And it doesn't have like the drawbacks that young Naruto had, and it doesn't have kind of the thing that Boruto had, whereas, you know, you have the main character and his supporting cast being sidelined. This is very much a Boruto story, and he is front and center. There is no Naruto, solely focusing on their characters and building up, and that is why I like it so much.